Kirsty and Simon, each one will chime in, talking on their podcast, Stress Pubs Rock and Roll.
Hi, welcome to Stress Pubs Rock and Roll. I decided this week I was going to do a slightly different intro, because I always say that. Mm-hmm. Then I couldn't think of anything, so I went back to that.
I was really excited.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh.
I know, everything else seemed a bit over the top.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe for season 2.
I'll ramp it up a little bit for season 2.
Yeah, we'll have a different thing.
Yeah. Welcome to Stress Pubs Rock and Roll, episode 8. We're getting close to 10.
If you like.
We're getting close to 9.
We are very close to 9.
Thanks for sticking with us and checking us out. Really loving everyone who's been following us and adding us on Instagram and Facebook, and we keep having biggest months ever. Like, every month seems to be bigger than the last one, so we're doing something right, and you're listening, so thank you very much.
Yeah, it's very nice. And it's very nice having a chat with all of my peers over the last few weeks that I've been gigging with, and they've been asking me, what have you been up to? And I've been telling them about this podcast, and then it's really nice to know that you guys have actually checked it out and listened to it.
I emailed Kirsty in the week and I said, hey, I've been listening to another podcast but from musicians. It's quite interesting. They're talking about some interesting stuff, but it's not very funny. They don't do any of the funny stuff. It's just all serious. And Kirsty's your reaction was brilliant. Loved it, because you just went, wow, they're not having a laugh, they don't understand it. It's like completely like cut me down. So, yeah, you're right.
No, well, it's true though, isn't it? I mean, if you're in an industry like music, anything creative, let's be honest, it's very depressing. It can be really, you can get cut down in a second. You've got to laugh about it. You've got to have a really, really good sense of humour in order to just bypass all of the crappy bits and keep doing it, I think.
Hopefully we're keeping you guys equally entertained and advised, or what's the word? Informed is what I was thinking. That's the word I was thinking of.
That's a good word. I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Give a shout out to our sponsors they're on Instagram. Brixton Streetwear 1977. Thanks for the support, guys. And I'm a bit pissed off about Instagram this week.
Why?
Well, I don't know if it's Instagram's fault or something else, but I got hacked. My personal account got hacked. And like all my passwords got stolen, like all my personal details.
Oh, great.
And then yesterday I got first thing I noticed last week was I logged into my personal account. I couldn't get in. It blocked me out. And then yesterday I started getting like threatening emails. Like, with, this is your password and these are your personal details. Like, if you don't pay us money, we're going to send a lot of porn to your computer and then phone the police and all this kind of stuff.
What the hell?
I know. Like, what the F?
And then you would have been like, okay, go forth then, and I'll show the police this email, idiot.
Well, yeah, but they were like, we've got all your contacts from all your social stuff, and like, we've been filming you. I was
filming you.
I'm not that worried because I don't really do much exciting stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
give them something to watch.
It was really threatening.
That's sick, though. People are just doing that to obviously just freak you out.
Yeah. Well, it's totally official. So I phoned the police yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, it's a scam. What they want is obviously to scare the living daylights out of you so that you give them money.
Yeah.
Obviously don't give them money because I'll just encourage them. But yeah, I've had to register it as a hate crime, not a hate crime. So that was a nice start to yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's Instagram or whether they got it from Instagram or whether there's been a few data leaks from other companies, whether they got my password for Instagram because it had been leaked from somewhere else. I don't know. I'm blaming Instagram.
Yeah, well, that sounds really dodgy to me.
Yeah. So I had a really bad start today yesterday. That was the first thing. So I spent an hour onto the phone to the police, and then on my way to work, I hit a pigeon in the car. Now, I've got a roof box on the car at the moment because I've just been on holiday.
I heard I ate a pigeon in the car then.
just to cheer myself up after all the drama. Just bit the head off a live pigeon. Good enough for Ozzy.
Flying
Good
rat.
enough for me. No, I didn't eat a pigeon, Kirsty.
Thank goodness.
Weirdly. Because I wasn't in the really... if anything, I was a little bit pissed off, really. I'd like to sort of do that on my own time when I'm a bit chilled out, like have a dip with it. One of those Doritos, hot and spicy dips.
Stick in a bit of salsa.
Yeah.
Salsa pigeon.
Nice dove.
Oh.
No, I didn't eat a pigeon. I hit a pigeon in my car. Now, I've got a roof box on at the moment because I've been on holiday. Thing got stuck in between the roof of my car and the roof box.
Oh, you didn't have to pick it out, did you?
I had to like sort of punch it out from underneath the roof box.
Ew.
This was all before 8:30 yesterday morning. But you got me in a better mood today.
Thank goodness.
No one's blackmailed me. No one's threatened me. I haven't eaten any birds.
No birds were harmed in the making of this.
In the making of my lunch.
No.
So we got a dog next door. He doesn't know we were recording, clearly.
No, he didn't get the memo.
He didn't. So what have you been up to?
I've written it down, as you can see.
You wrote it down, what, because you might forget?
Because I do forget, yeah. I do actually forget. I block things out from my memory. It's really bad, isn't it?
True. To be fair, those two things happened to me yesterday, so I can still remember them.
So we played at Birmingham Uni. That was quite exciting.
Cool. What, with
the live karaoke band we played.
Nice.
4 people did karaoke for the whole entire evening.
Oh, really?
Out of like 500.
Nice.
It was so hot in there. Everyone was outside. And
was this was it students at the uni?
No, it was
because it's not time, right? They're off on some holiday.
Yeah, they were all out. It was a huge corporate event for
People don't like singing.
Yeah, well, 4 of them did. And I remember, so we were in this place called the Great Hall. Now, as you can imagine, it's
Harry Potter?
Yeah, pretty great, made of marble.
Wow.
On a huge stage. We were tiny. We had a PA that would probably do a room of up to about 300 people. And we're in a room that could easily see about 2,000 with the freaking tiniest PA you've ever seen in comparison to this room. And also, I don't know if you've ever been in a room where there's a high ceiling and it's all made of marble.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't want to interrupt your story, but like, I ran an open mic once in a place that had like a sort of marble floor.
It's not the one, is it?
It's not the one. It's freaking nightmare.
Sounded whack.
Sounded whack.
Sounded whack. Like we were doing a sound check, and it was quite funny. So Ben and Chris were playing bass and drums, and we mic'd up the drums and everything, and they're calling to me from the side. What does it sound like, Kirsty? What does it sound like? Can you go out the front? Tell us what it sounds like. I went out the front, and I just was, well, this just sounds shit. And they kept asking me for feedback, and I was like, well, it just sounds freaking shit. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. It just sounds whack. It sounds like you're hitting the drums with a wet fish. And then the bass just sounds like a slappy, boomy, there's no definition. I can't even tell that you're playing any notes on that bass.
That's not good,
it's just... It was like that. It was horrible. And we just had to kind of put up with that. So that was fun.
What can you do? I mean, there'll be people listening who have had gigs like that and may have them in the future. What's the advice? What can you do? So
what I would do would be to hire a production team so they could bring in racking for the stage with sound deadening panels on it to absorb some of the sound to stop it reverbing so much.
I think you need a lot of people.
So you need like a back panel and then side panels, and then ideally you need a PA that can handle that kind of size of room, because what was happening was the sound was only travelling, 100 foot before it was just like, you couldn't define.
Mush.
Just mush of rubbish. And so that's another reason why people didn't want to come up and sing anyway, because they couldn't hear anything that was happening. It was just, well, this band's bloody awful.
Yeah. So I suppose there's not a lot you can do when you get there if you've only bought a certain amount of equipment with you. But if you can, I suppose, get people to sit nearer to you. Yeah, because they're going to deaden the sound.
Yeah,
maybe have another speaker so your speakers don't have to travel all the way to the back of the room. If you've got more than 2,
like
have some halfway up the room or something like that. Yeah,
I bought a new PA system.
Yeah,
which is really exciting. Yay.
I mean, I know it's like just sort of metal and plastic and stuff, but it's pretty sexy. Yeah, it's
awesome. It's like my speakers, they've got they've got ergonomic rubber handles, by the way, guys.
If there was if there was porn categories for like PAs, it would have one of its own. Yeah. It's definitely there's loads of stuff to tweak on that.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My speakers have also got EQ settings on them specifically. So when you're using the desk, then what you can do is if you switch over to a DJ or if you switch over to speeches, you press a button on the back of the speaker, it automatically changes all the frequencies ready for speeches, so you don't have to fanny around
that
with
is handy,
any of the
because
desk.
the amount of times I end up having to quickly
Got
turn
to
all the
try
reverb
go-
down.
Yeah, exactly.
So I haven't done many gigs recently. I was going to talk about gigs, but I haven't really done many. I had a weekend off last weekend because I went to watch my son do his first gig.
Yeah.
So he actually did 2 in a week. 3 in a week actually. So
Blimey.
they had a talent show for he's just started drums. He's been learning about 6 weeks. School of Rock kind of thing. So they had their end of term concert.
Yeah.
200 parents. They hired out a big thing in Basingstoke College. So big old stage, backdrop and lights, and they did it really, really well. So he got to play there. That was a super proud moment. He did really well.
Oh, bless
What I
him.
really liked about it was he's a really good listener. So he was really observing how other people were playing, like what the bass was doing, and he's not one of these people. I mean, I know the drummer should lead. Other kids were just boom, 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 and completely out of time with everybody else.
So
he
was trying to
locked
keep
in,
it.
and the tutor was playing as well. So he was kind of locked into what the tutor was doing and keeping time with him. But he was very aware of his surroundings. I said to him afterwards, because I didn't know whether he looked really serious up there. I was like, I don't know whether, because that's quite a big gig, and he's 7, so it's
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I said to him afterwards, hey, did you enjoy it? He said, never ever felt like that before.
Oh,
Is
that a good thing or a bad thing?
I said, were you all right? He says, yeah. And then they had a school talent show. Now, I'm against talent. We'll probably do an episode on this. Because I've got a big thing about music shouldn't be a competition. But, nevertheless, primary school did a talent show.
right.
So each class had to put forward, they had class auditions. So I think there was 4 or 5 acts from his class. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're 7, right? So one of them was a girl just cartwheeling around the room, I think. And
It seems legit, yeah.
yeah, just random stuff like that, flossing basically, just to any random song.
Everyone keeps doing that at every wedding I've played at over the last 3 weeks, and it's doing my head in a little bit.
I'm kind of at the edge of my tether on it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he decided that him and his mate in his class were going to start a rock band.
Sweet.
And so I was like, does anyone else play anything? He was like, Finley will do it. Does Finley know about it? Yeah, Finley will do it. So he got his mate Finley involved. Bless him, they did Smoke on the Water with a backing track off YouTube. I took his drum kit into school. Mm-hmm. They had costumes.
Blimey.
We had rehearsals at our house. It was hilarious. I mean, this other kid, he's like Jagger. He had loads of moves, an attitude. He was throwing himself around, And I was like, "Do you need the words?" No, I've learned the words. I know the words.
Yeah, I'm a pro.
It's
out.
really funny, and yeah, they nailed it. So they got through to the final. I think they came 4th out of the whole school. So that's not bad. There was about 10 acts in the final.
Okay.
And there's a lot of older kids. I don't know what one, but it doesn't matter. The boy done well. So I did get back to doing open mics.
Yeah, I saw.
Which is I know, which is what our topic is going to be for today.
Yes.
I'm surprised we've taken this long to get to an open mic episode, to be honest, because we met through an open mic,
yes,
kind of, and we both kind of on and off run open mics.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's taken until episode 8, but I'm kind of pleased it has.
Oh, it's just so obvious. I think it's nice to chat about everything else. First.
If anything, I'm kind of done talking about it.
What,
I mean, it doesn't bode very well for this episode, but
I'm over it already.
I'm over it. Sick of it. But yeah, to be honest, I kind of lost my mojo with music. I was like, 2 things happened, right? And firstly, I'm just knackered. And so I'm not taking much enjoyment out of anything really at the moment. I'm just I'm going to bed early, and I'm completely burnt out with life at the moment. So I've not been enjoying playing gigs. I've been doing gigs and just going through the motions. I keep having really flat. Everyone else is enjoying it, but I'm just I just can't be. I don't want to do it. I just want to give it a break for a bit. So that's been going on. Mm-hmm. I haven't been doing many gigs either, which kind of, you get out of the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
And frankly, I've been listening to a load of really good music.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you ever see other bands play and they make you kind of want to give up. Because you go, oh my God, they're so much better than me. Sometimes if you see a guitarist playing, you go, geez, they're really good. I just want to give up.
That might be, because I don't ever look at people and think, well, I'm going to give up because they're just amazing.
No, I don't do it a lot.
I often, what often happens is the opposite for me. I often go, oh, that was really cool what they did. Maybe I can take some of what they've done. And
That is the right response. And I think that's the logical response. But if I'm honest, I think I've been a little bit burnt out and just a bit negative. I've decided this week to do a load more exercise, not give in to it and go to bed early and stay up and push myself. And it's coincided with me having open mics come back and do it again, because I had a layoff over the World Cup.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. So I was a bit miserable last week. Then I had 2 open mics. Mm-hmm. Even though I've been doing it 10 years, I really learned something this week that I'd lost sight of. I knew it, but I'd lost sight of it completely.
Right.
And loads of people turned up at open mic last week. Firstly, it was wicked. Had a really, really good time. Mm-hmm. The standard was great, and we had a big jam at the end.
Nice.
You'd have hated it, because we did like a 10-minute Bruce Springsteen kind of like. I played harmonica, and everyone like we did Thunder Road and Born to Run, and like you were just like.
Glad I didn't go.
Yeah, not your kind of thing. But we had harmonies going on. It was really organic. It was great. But yeah, what I had lost sight of is people were turning up playing covers that they wanted to play, and not necessarily everyone knew. Mm-hmm. So we had 3 people on one night, weirdly, all playing Frank Turner covers.
Okay.
We had another couple of guys playing like covers that they were like bands that I'd never even heard of. Mm-hmm. And they were nailing it, and it was great, and it was really nice. And hardly everyone knew the songs, but they were doing it. And it made me think, like, what have I been doing? I've been playing paid gigs, playing the same damn covers that I'm not necessarily into anymore. Like, if I was into it vaguely, I've killed it. And what I realised I was doing, when I did have an open mic, and when I wasn't being paid, I was just churning out the same covers.
Yeah.
And what I should do really is play stuff that I want to play.
That you want to
do. I'm not being paid. Yeah. Do stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Before we get on to, we haven't even talked about music news yet, and there's loads of it. So I'm gonna crack on with that in a second.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased. We've got some great music coming up on the show. So we've always said this isn't necessarily going to be about new music or whatever. Like, it's music. We play stuff we like, clearly, but we play stuff that backs up a point or whatever. So I've been going out and speaking to various different bands. You're going to love it. There's so much good stuff that we've got coming up in the next 2 or 3 podcasts. From US bands. We've got some really good UK bands. But this guy for today, we've got some great new music. So this guy is a guy called James Maddock. Now James is originally from Leicester in the UK, and he now lives in New York. He's fairly well known. So James is a singer-songwriter. He's had albums out since the 1980s. Really, I think he's been based in New York for about 20 years. He's got an established band out there. I've only just discovered him, but I kind of feel like I was always destined to like stumble across him, because he's really good mates and plays really regularly with loads of bands that I do know and follow. Yeah. I'm very, very into Counting Crows. I've seen him probably more than I have seen him more than any other band, and I listen to their podcasts, follow all the stuff I do. He did an album with David Immergluck, who is the guitarist from Counting Crows, and I'm going to play a song from that in a minute. So in James's band is Aaron, who is the drummer from Spin Doctors. Mm-hmm. Now, Spin Doctors is probably my second favourite band, probably. I've seen them loads as well. Aaron is an amazing drummer. James is great. The more I've been listening to his stuff, like, the songwriting is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Really, really good. The storytelling, just the use of language and lyrics is great. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, look, we're loving your music. Mm-hmm. Can we play some songs? Not only did he say, yeah, you can play some songs, he was like, I'll send you stuff from a new album. It's not out yet. It's coming out in September. But here's some new tracks. Have a listen. Play them on your podcast. Yeah, so we've got kind of an exclusive, guys. If you are a James Maddock fan, then we're going to play one of his older songs now. But at the end of this show, we're going to play something from his brand new album that's not even out until September. So James, thanks very much. You're an absolute diamond for letting us have an exclusive listen. This is off his album called Jimmy and Immy, and it's called Prettier Girls. Sweet. Enjoy.
you don't. You know we belong together. Why'd you make us come apart? Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you. Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you. Thank you, I miss you, even when you're around. How come I'm always having fun when I wanna get serious, serious and down? You got the power of persuasion, and you turn it on for me. Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you. Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you. We've all got our faults and our weaknesses too. You got more than most, I got more than you. We gotta bury the past deep in the mud, put it all behind us for the greater good. 'Cause you know we belong together. Why'd you make us come apart? Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you. Pretty girls in the world, but none of them are pretty as you.
I love that track. It's good. So, looking at music news,
Yes.
there was loads, some better than others. So, the first thing I found, although I think I've trumped this with a load more news now, but they uncovered like a rare recording of David Bowie singing. They think it's the first recorded like demo of David Bowie singing. He's a teenager in like a school band.
Yeah.
And they've kind of dug it out. So like everyone's going like, obviously, because you know Bowie's one of those people that everyone, well, not everyone, but like the people who love him absolutely love him.
Yeah.
And like suddenly there's new stuff to listen to.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cute.
Yeah, David Bowie. Do you like David Bowie?
I do like David Bowie. Yeah.
Bowie or Bowie? What do you say?
Bowie.
Bowie. I think it is Bowie, isn't it? The I can't take him seriously after having watched Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, God.
Because that episode is amazing.
The one where like,
yeah,
Bowie's in space. That one.
Love that.
To be fair, me and my friend Elle used to do that impression quite a lot.
I think but David Bowie's one of those, or Bowie's one of those people that I really admire as an artist. I think he's very, very talented. I'm fascinated by him and the aura of the characters he creates and the whole thing about him. I'm not a massive fan of his music. If I'm honest, I'm not a massive fan of his music. I could take it or leave it. If it was anybody else who'd done that kind of music, I probably would have gone, I don't really like it. Which I know there's that I'm not saying it's rubbish. I just it doesn't really float my boat. But I am absolutely fascinated by like him as a as an icon, as an idol, I think he's just
definitely
so unique and so important to not only fashion and music, but so many people.
He's definitely very charismatic, isn't he? I think I have a similar thoughts as well. So some of his music, you have to be a diehard fan to really appreciate it and listen to it and things like that, and that's totally fine. There's a few choice songs that I really like, and then others that I'm just sort of go, yeah, right, the chorus was pretty good, but I'm kind of done listening to this now. And I do flick through, but I have to say, I think he's quite charming and quite funny and witty, and I think I quite like him.
So there's another bit of news that I was going to share last week, and this is like proper old because no one cares about the World Cup, but I was going to talk about the fact that Three Lions had become back in the charts. I didn't bother mentioning it, and then we went out of the World Cup. But now they've got a new record of the fastest ever fall from number one.
Amazing.
Of any song in the UK, because I think that got really annoying, didn't it?
It did.
It's coming home. It's like that. Like if I heard one more chav say that, I was going to punch him in the face.
I had to sing it at several gigs.
Did you actually do it?
Yeah.
To be fair, it's actually a really good song. It's very well written.
Yeah, well, that's
catchy.
the thing. Everybody, what I found was that all the gigs, all the drunk people were doing the "It's Coming Home" bit, but not realising they had to kind of wait for the chord sequence to change to go back into the verse section, which is the same chords, but it's got a different sort of melody to it, and they couldn't figure out. They just kept doing the "It's Coming Home" bit, and they were sort of stuck there in a sort of perpetual motion or whatever it's called. They were just stuck, and they kept looking at me to help them, and I thought, no, you got yourself into this freaking mess.
That reminds me, that gig I did last time with that Jude.
Yes,
we got stuck on that la la la.
You do.
La 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 la. We just couldn't get out of it. Every time I tried to move into the next verse, someone in the group would go it, and then they'd pull everyone back in again. It was like, we're never going to get out of this cycle of Lars. It was ridiculous.
Worse, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Worse.
So anyway, that's very UK specific, but yeah, that did make me laugh. There's a new film coming out about. So I've got a vague idea about this. I haven't floated this to you. So two things will happen: either you'll love the idea and you'll keep this bit in the podcast, or this whole bit will be non-existent to anyone because you'll edit this bit out.
Okay.
So there's a new trailer that's just been released for a Queen rockumentary coming out in cinema. I think it's like October time it comes out, maybe September, I think. So the film is obviously, the film's called Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes. And have you seen the trailer? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen the trailer.
It looks pretty epic. It looks pretty good.
It looks amazing.
Queen, for a lot of people around the world anyway, is a big deal. For us here in the UK, it's kind of more important than the actual Queen to us. I think for many people, they are one of the greatest bands ever.
I got really, really excited when I saw the trailer.
So did I.
Like so excited that I almost cried because, and I tell you why as well, because the actors who are actually portraying Queen, like even in the trailer is 1 minute and 30 long. It's so short, but they nail it.
It's a great trailer. If anyone hasn't seen it, go and check it out.
Really is. Rami Malek is playing Freddie. He was what was his name? He was in Night at the Museum. He was the Egyptian prince.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
His Freddie is spot on. Like
very good.
It's really convincing because he's nailed it. The mixing of the tunes throughout the trailer as well. It's got all the tunes you want, hasn't it?
It's great.
So good.
It's going to be epic. So my idea is, I've got a really good mate of mine who is a film director. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we get him on as a guest.
Yeah.
We go and watch the film pretty early doors when it comes out, and we get the podcast out pretty quick. So like in the first kind of week or so of the film coming out, so people can listen to it. I'm suspecting we're not going to be able to spoil the film by talking about it. I mean, I think it's probably not ruining the magic to say he probably dies at the end of the film.
I don't know if there could be much spoilers.
I'm not sure there's many people here. What? Freddie Mercury's died?
Freddie Mercury's dead.
Damn you. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, we did.
It's almost like what we say on here is kind of manifests itself.
It's a reality.
So I'm going to say that it would be great if I won the lottery. It'd be really good if I won the lottery. And I look forward to talking about that next week.
Yeah.
But no, Liam has asked Noel. Liam's finally decided, after all the bad blood, that he's asked Noel. He thinks it's time to get Oasis back together.
Didn't he say, let's get the big O back together,
Yeah,
or something like that?
let's get the big O back
the
together.
big O, something like that. And also, he cursed
After like
him.
10 years of calling his brother a C word every opportunity.
He said, come on, our kid. I'll buy the drinks or whatever. And he said, it was your fault that England went out of the World Cup because you cursed him by saying it's not coming home at your concert or whatever.
Now, I have actually another music-related story about why England went out, and I'll tell you about that in 1 second. But do we think that this change of tune by Liam might be something to do with the fact that his solo albums haven't probably sold as well as Noel's?
I reckon it might have something to do with the fact that Noel has actually been nominated for a Mercury.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
That is, yeah. Yeah, funny that. So, anyway, I think it's fair to say that Oasis won't be getting back together anytime soon.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Tell you who else has been nominated for a Mercury Award, and I don't really know this girl, and I have to say, I'm not actually a fan too much of her music. A girl called Nadine Shah has been nominated for a Mercury Music Award. Now, the only reason I mention this, I met her in a queue to buy a pint about 10 years ago.
Sweet.
And I was at the Latitude Festival, and she was behind me, or in front of me. I think she was in front of me.
Yeah.
And we got chatting in the queue, because you have to wait like 20 minutes to get a bloody drink and those things. We got chatting in the queue, and I could see she had a lanyard on with artist on it. So I said, oh, you're an artist, you're playing? She goes, yeah, I'm Nadine. So we got chatting. Such a nice girl.
Yeah.
Like properly lovely, like really down to earth. And I remember the name sticking in my head. And I think I looked her up at the time, like I listened to a bit of her music, but I kind of went away. But anyway, she's been nominated for a Mercury Music Award. And do you know what pleases me? Although I'm not a big fan of her style, she's got quite a deep voice, actually. It's quite a weird, it's unexpected voice for the style she's doing. But it's very good. It is very, very good. But it's just not really my kind of thing. What really pleases me is that I met her like 10 years ago, and she's been plodding on and plodding on and plodding on.
Yes.
And like she's finally, I mean, that being nominated for a Mercury Music Award normally is the big leg up. It was for like Elbow and a lot of those guys, like to get like to really make it. So I really hope, given the fact that I've met her once and she was such a nice girl.
Yeah, she's been akin to PJ Harvey, who is also a Mercury Award winner.
Yeah.
But her stuff is very, you can hear the PJ Harvey influence in it, definitely. And also, I thought, a lot of Skunk and Nancy.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
I felt like...
Not the rage necessarily, but there's something about it.
That kind of, the jagged harshness of some of the stuff. So predominantly a lot of the reasons why she's been nominated for this, I think she's Muslim, so a lot of her songs are
maybe
pushing
it's just
aside.
her time, man. Maybe she's just relevant at the time.
Yeah, she is definitely.
It's
'cause
sad
she's a
that
Muslim
she's been
woman.
plugging away for ages, and only now that she becomes relevant. But check her out. Talking of festivals, Camp Festival, a few of my friends went, really good. So if you don't know much about the UK festival scene, Festival is a fairly big deal. Camp Festival runs the week before Festival on the same site, and it's more of a family oriented. It's very kid. It's not kiddie music, but it's more of a very, very family friendly festival before the main festival kicks off.
Yes.
I had a load of my mates who went and were absolutely gutted that the whole of Sunday night, it's supposed to be a 3-day festival, the whole of Sunday night completely cancelled due to the bonkers weather we had. Like it's been really odd living in the UK. I'm not used to it. We've had 2 months of like California. Like I've been walking around just with that California like in my head for like 2 months because it's been bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been between 32 and 34
It's
degrees
been lovely. I love it.
every day for about 2 months.
It didn't rain in London for 10 weeks straight. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Doesn't surprise me.
And then this last weekend we just had was just obscene, wasn't it? It was like It's like
whole-
making it up. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I've been away on holiday. I'm going to come back now. And
Oh, look at all this surplus rain I've got. Oh my God, what am I going to do with it?
sorry.
Let it out bit by bit. What, all at once? No, bit by bit.
Yeah. So it was bloody bonkers. And not only that, we had like kind of a sort of hurricane kind of wind with it as well.
Yeah, so that was funny because we were doing a wedding in a marquee. And it was like, that's so right. It's boiling hot. Imagine this. It's boiling hot. We've done 3 gigs in a row. We're at our last final gig of the weekend, and so far it's been scorching. We've been boiling hot and expecting the same. We turn up, suddenly it starts drizzling, and we're like, oh, thank goodness, it's not so hot. But then we're like, oh God, we haven't got a green room. So we're in a field, we've got nowhere to go, we have to sit outside basically in the rain. So we sat in the car and it's peeing down with rain, and then all of a sudden the wind starts, and it starts. The wind is
It was proper windy, wasn't it?
proper
windy.
going for it. So this marquee, we finally get inside and we're trying to sound check, and the wind is absolutely howling. It's blowing through the marquee, and the marquee top is sort of swaying around, and they've got these huge chandeliers in there on chains. These
Jesus.
chandeliers are swinging from one end of the frickin' thing to the other, like like this. I'm like, right, someone's going to lose an head or something. Jesus.
We talked about my crap bucket list the other week. One thing I do have on my bucket list that's possibly a little bit more exciting than going around the M25. I do want to swing on a chandelier. I don't mean like Miley Cyrus. I don't mean like naked.
Say, all
like,
right, Miley, calm down.
coming like a wrecking ball. in like a sequin jumpsuit and high heels, dressed as Ziggy Stardust.
Hair flowing back.
I don't have to be in the full get-up. I'm happy to be in a boiler suit, in normal workwear, in like naked. I don't really care.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
but I do quite fancy having a little swing on a chandelier. Now that's what I call music. 100 was out. Now they made a big deal of this, and I think it's fair enough actually, because it's kind of a national institution in the UK. Now, if you are listening in the States, probably don't know what it is. It's back in like 1983, I think it was. They had a compilation album came out like of chart music. It became a kind of national institution, really, and we've now been doing 3 a year ever since. Now, so I've got some vaguely interesting facts here. So the first one was released in 1983.
Cool.
In 28th of November 1983, featured 30 UK hit singles, and it was a double vinyl, or you could buy it on cassette. The name, it's a bit of an odd name. We've kind of got used to it. It's just been it's always been around, so I've just kind of got used to it. But if you stop and think about it, now that's what I call music. It took its name from a 1920s advertising poster for Danish bacon. Weirdly.
What, music?
Yeah. Now that there was a pig talking to a chicken, and the pig said, "Now that's what I call music."
Right.
As it listened to a chicken singing. Now,
right.
it's weird, isn't it? I don't even know where to go with that.
Yeah.
But this is the vaguely interesting thing.
Yeah.
Richard Branson bought the poster for his cousin to hang in his office at Virgin Records. That's where the inspiration for the thing came from, for some reason.
Yeah.
Now the pig, actually, if you see any of the Now albums 1 to 5.
Right.
Pig is actually on the album cover. Any ideas what number as the biggest selling Now album today, or what year? What number Now album or what year?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head at all, but I reckon maybe something like around maybe 96-ish.
Close, 99. It was Now that's what I call music 44. Apparently sold 2.3 million copies and is the best-selling compilation album ever made.
Damn. I might have that one.
It doesn't say what's on it.
I was going to say, I might have that one on tape.
Yeah, 99.
That was the millennium, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably had wild guess, but I imagine a lot of people would have been having parties at their house and would have just bought that as the soundtrack, because it's an easy thing to just buy a compilation album and then you've got a playlist for the evening. The next biggest one was 2008, was Now 70. Sold 383 units in the first week of sales, which is the biggest ever first week of sales for a Now album.
Blimey.
Who do you think is the biggest selling artist? Any ideas? You might have seen it's been all over the news, like who the number one most featured artist is.
Well, I would be cheating because I read your thingy, wouldn't I?
He's my brother.
It's actually Simon's brother.
We're gonna. Funnily enough, he just refuses to come on this podcast.
Ribaldo.
Yeah, Ribaldo Williams. He's had 29 hits on
29?
29 times he's been on an album. Rihanna's had 25 on there.
I didn't even know Rihanna had 25 songs.
No, I didn't know. Kylie Minogue, 23. Girls Aloud, 21 songs.
I didn't even know Girls Aloud had 21 songs either.
It's bonkers, isn't it? So I'm gonna play a very quick song. We got so much to get through tonight. I know it's been a long one already, but we're very shortly going to talk about our topic of the evening.
Hey.
But before we do that, I'm really delighted. So I've reached out to a load of artists that I really like. There's a very, very successful TV show that's been on for the last 10 years called Sons of Anarchy. Mm-hmm. I'm sure loads of our listeners would listen to it. It's huge. Mm-hmm. And the show has had a very successful soundtrack. If you've watched the show, you'll know that they use kind of very sad, slow kind of songs or covers of really famous rock songs, but in a very slowed down fashion, over the top of just horrendous violence. Like it's very Tarantino way of like.
Yeah.
One of the main guys who writes the music for the show,
yes,
has been very kind to let us play some music on our podcast.
Yay!
I'm going to play a live track because it kind of features in with the kind of live open mic discussion we're kind of having. This one is absolutely in the Sons of Anarchy kind of acoustic. This is the live show they did at the Cactus Cafe, which there's been loads of live albums recorded from this particular venue. And this is a great track. This is called No Time for Blood, and it's by Battle Me.
Thank you. Song called No Time for Blood. Take me back and let me find my home, darling sweet. When the world is at my fingertips, breaking you from me. I know this ain't no place to change your mind about me. I've been driving through these streets again with darkness on my feet. It's a crazy time. Blind I see. Crazy time. You're back inside me. When I told you not to lose my mind, that you would take it all away. I just don't want to lose today. So tell me when it's easy, when it all blows away and the highway calls me out again. You know that I can't stay, 'cause every time I lose my mind it's bad. You know me, but you beat the drunk inside my head, saving me from me. It's a crazy time. Blind I see. Crazy time. You're back inside me. You told me not to lose my mind, that you would take it all away. Just don't want to lose today. It's all been said before my time, darling sweet, but I'm coming back to sing you home, back inside of me. I know this ain't no place to change your mind about me. I'm coming back this time again. lightness on my feet. It's a crazy time. Blind I see. Crazy time. You're back inside me. And I told you not to lose my mind, that you would take it all away. Just don't want to lose today. Just don't want to lose today. Thank you.
I love that. The guy's got a great voice. The guy's got a really good voice. So thanks for letting us play. Our topic of the day, we were going to talk about open mic nights.
Yes.
How would you describe an open mic night?
Right, so does what it says on the tin, doesn't it, really? Stage and performance area, safe for you to experiment with either new music, your own music, covers, poetry, comedy, magical, entertainment, anything goes. Anything goes,
Yeah.
really, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
And we will discuss it, but I want to make the distinction at the outset between a jam night
And an
and an open mic night, and potentially a kind of folk circle, because I think they are
different
things. Now, we actually met through an open mic night, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
Damn that open mic night.
Yeah, I know. We actually, we accidentally killed it.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. So we have a mutual friend who is how we know each other, who runs open mic nights, and they're great nights, and she puts a lot of effort into it. Now, she went off to have a baby, left our open mic night in charge of two people. She was thinking, well, who can I lend it to, who is responsible and will look after it and do a really good job. Both of us have had loads of experience running open mic nights, so we kind of took it on together, not really knowing each other beforehand, and we ran it for like 3 or 4 months, and then it got canned.
Yeah.
Through no fault of our own, I have to say.
No, it wasn't actually us, it was the venue.
But yeah, it got canned. So we will talk about that in a second. But so you'd imagine I would be fairly pro open mic nights, but I'm going to try and stay fairly impartial. And what I mean by that is there is a lot of people. There's a great deal of snobbery around open mic nights.
Yeah.
I find people who run jam nights are very, very critical about open mic nights. Some venues are very critical about open mic nights, and some bands are very critical about open mic nights because they feel like they are beyond that in their kind of musical career. So there's definitely that kind of undertone of stuff. But on the flip side, I would say they are an amazing thing, and they are the gateway to so many people playing live.
Yeah, definitely. So I often see a lot of backlash against open mic nights because a lot of people who consider themselves pro musicians, what have you, suggest that it's a cheap way for venues to have live entertainment and they're not paying the acts that are playing. How I see them is a chance to do some networking and meet other people who are like-minded, who enjoy music. It's also an opportunity for you to get better performing. Yeah, you may have practiced your song at home and you may have rehearsed or whatever, but playing in front of an audience is very different to playing in front of your television in
absolutely.
the lounge.
And there's two things I would say about that. One is, don't expect, because it's only 3 songs or 4 songs or 2 songs or whatever it is, that you don't need to work hard.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I think you actually need to work harder to get people, because you've got a very limited, you've got 10 minutes maybe, 15 minutes
on your side.
to get people on your side, entertain them, and keep, and then sign off on some kind of, I don't want to use the word climax because you'll talk about Dumbo again, but like finish off on some kind of like finale.
Yeah.
Like that's quite hard in 3 songs to really grab people. If you've got a paid gig, frankly, like, when you play with your band, and like I haven't actually seen you guys play live. I've seen loads of videos because I'm stalking you. But
Awesome.
but I would imagine like the first part of your first set, like the good first, not being disrespectful, but I'm sure you have very limited engagement. Like you might do some gigs where people are up straight away, like, but the majority of your gigs, is it fair to say that like the first half an hour, first 5 or 6 songs, people aren't up dancing, you're trying to warm them up, you're kind of getting into it?
Yeah, you've got to work them It depends. Like
Depends on the gig, I
on the
guess.
gig, yeah. So if it's a wedding, you have more opportunity of keeping people on the dance floor because the likelihood is you've already done the first dance, therefore they're already there. Therefore, do something. Get like quick, get them, make them stay. And then what tends to happen after that is either they stay for about 3 or 4 songs, but then they're still not quite drunk enough, and it's sort of
there, are they?
there's a little lull towards the end of the first set. They sort of come back a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And so my point is, people make this assumption that open mic nights is like, it's kind of a free practice. You're not being paid. It's a rehearse. It's like a live. I hear it all the time. It's a live rehearsal. Just treat it as a live rehearsal. I actually don't. I might be completely on my own with this viewpoint, but I actually think it's a harder gig. Sometimes you've got a pub who have seen open mic night there. They're expecting the standard to be piss poor. Probably, maybe some of them, right?
A lot of
You've got
them
people
are,
talking over the top of you, not like a wedding where everyone's up for a good time and everyone's focused on the band's come on, let's look at them. Not like a function gig where you are the focal point a lot of the time. You're having to compete with people just having normal conversation in a pub. You're a distraction. You've only got 3 songs to get them, boom, into it, enjoying it, out, with a bit of banter in between songs.
Yeah.
That is really hard. Now, forget the fact you're not being paid. That's a really hard gig. And that's perfect practice. Like,
Exactly.
If I encourage bands should be doing open mic nights, practicing their banter, practicing which songs are going to grab people. Like getting the mistakes out of the way when in a non-paid environment, that's fine. You should treat an open mic night as a professional as a paid gig.
Yeah, definitely. It sort of helps. I think they help you gauge what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Even when you've got the song nailed, have you practiced your lead in, your banter into the song? Have you practiced like the way that you are engaging with the audience? The whole setup of me talking in between songs and engaging people while I'm playing is way more important probably than actually the musicality of what I'm doing. I just want to address the paying bit because it's just ripping off artists and people don't get paid.
Yeah.
Now, I've been doing this for 10 years. I got into it because I wanted a regular gig. So I fell into doing open mic nights because I had a pub down the road from me and we said, look, why don't we just, there's a guaranteed gig every month.
Yeah, exactly.
And a paid one.
Yeah.
For a band that we weren't very good at the time, and so we fell into doing it, and the only way we could justify it is making it an open mic night and bringing other people along. And I met so many people. I've probably met like 400 people in the last 10 years who are like 400 artists. My whole network of friends is built around the music business or scene locally. But I tell you what, the payment piece, lots of people approach it differently. My approach is I want to make sure people come down and get something out of playing. I don't, so I observed like 3 things that were annoying me about other people's open mic nights. One is that you get 1 song. Hanging around, you don't know when you're playing, and when you do play, you get 1 song. That's not fair. People have made the effort to get trains, to get to travel, to pay for car parking, to buy a couple of drinks. They wait until the end of the night, they probably bought about 3 or 4 drinks, and you're playing 1 song to people. That's not on.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
So the immediate thing I do is make sure that at my open mic nights, everyone gets 4 songs. 20 minutes. I know the average is 3 songs.
Yeah.
So I try and give people 4 songs. It makes mine a point of difference.
Yeah.
The other thing is I try and pre-book slots.
Yes.
Now, part of that is to safeguard me. So I ain't sitting in the pub going, oh, no one's here yet. And it could be, and you have, in the early days of me running it, you'd have nights where no bugger would turn up.
Yeah, I've had that.
Or it's even more stressful if you get like nobody turn up till 9 o'clock and then 6 acts all turn up all wanting to play.
I've had that as well. Yeah,
and people get pissed off with you because they're not going to get on.
Yeah.
So I try and pre-book slots. I leave gaps deliberately for walk-ups and stuff. But I know when I walk into the pub that the stress is off because I know I'm going to bring people down.
Yeah.
Sneakily, I've booked a mix of people who are going to play on their own and people who are in duos, people who've got family members they might bring down. So I know generally, like, worst case scenario is going to be 15 or 20 people they bring in. That helps. And I think it helps the person doing the open mic night because they know that they're not going to play till 10 o'clock before they turn up.
Yeah.
So it's not a shock. They can turn up at 9:30 if they want to. Like, they're not hanging around. And that annoys me. And the other thing that is, I'm very conscious that my nights are only successful by people making the effort to come down and play for free. So I try, if people are good, I get them gigs off the back of it.
Yeah, I find
paid gigs off the back of it.
Yeah, I find that happens more often than, a lot of people who do say negative things about open mics would like to give credit to. I've got loads of gigs through doing open mics.
The other thing I do, and I'm very conscious that people don't take the piss with this, but I buy people drinks. So the acts that come down, the acts that are playing, I will make sure that they are, for at least the first drink, if not the second drink, they're not having to spend out their own money. They're coming down and giving me their time and stuff for free. If I walk away for the end of the evening with a 30 quid bar bill, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to discuss what I get paid for an open mic, but it's not much. It's less than a regular gig.
Yeah, it is.
And I have to say, it takes me 2 weeks of emailing people, asking if they want to play, posting stuff on Facebook, making posters, dropping them into the pub, putting them up. It is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
That's where the money goes, and I'm sorry if I hadn't done 2 weeks worth of work, been there early, set up the PA, sat around listening to everyone and doing the mixing for everyone, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I know that sounds harsh, but that's why you don't get paid.
Yeah, no, definitely. As well, you have to work with your venue. The first ever open mic I ran when I was a wee 19-year-old or whatever I was, I used to run one in Guildford and I used to run one in Maidenhead. I actually didn't get paid for either of them. And so what we used to rely on was tips.
I forgot to mention that. When I started opening my own open mic, I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, I didn't get paid. The deal was, I had a PA system that didn't fit in my masonette in my flat, and I used to keep it at the pub. I used to keep it out the back at the pub, all my music equipment apart from my guitar, and every time I walked into the pub, like in midweek or whatever, if I wanted a pint, generally they'd shout me it for free, and about once a month I'd go in for a meal.
Yeah.
Like for free. But that was a kind of unwritten arrangement sort of thing. But yeah, I generally did it for free.
It's definitely different to jam nights. Jam nights are more a full band scenario.
Jam nights, I may be just picking up on a local dynamic here, because there's a jam night near me. Now, I run 2 open mic nights in the local area. I'm not going to say I've got a monopoly on my local town, but there's 3 open mic nights and I run 2 of them.
Right, okay.
I had an issue recently with the other one that I don't run. Someone said, the level, the quality down was rubbish, and they assumed that I was running it. I was very clear to go, do you know what, I don't run every open mic night in town, these 2 are mine, come down, see the level of quality that we've got down there, because that's one thing that I do hear a lot about my stuff, is everyone is brilliant. I don't have any rules that people can't play. I'm very inclusive, but I'm also I go out of my way to make sure that 50 or 60% of the acts I have on are very decent quality. Because the pub's happy, I'm happy, brings punters down, and it brings the ones who are just maybe not quite at the same level up a little bit. But there's this other one, from what I've heard, it's not got particularly good quality. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, no, the jam night. There's also a jam night in town. Very, very good musicians, brilliant musicians.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Yeah, they are very snobby around. In fact, this pub that they run it in, I said, we don't do open mic nights, we're better than that, which really got my goat. And so my experience of jam nights, I don't think they're great. They are great. They are a different experience to an open mic night. Because your open mic night, you're demonstrating your own act and putting that out there. A jam night is all about how do you gel with other musicians, and they are brilliant for musicianship, for getting up there, for having a load of fun. I find in the couple that I've been to, they're very cliquey. They can be very cliquey.
Yeah, they can be.
They can be very cliquey, and generally, in my experience, they've had a house band there who frankly just play all night, and you struggle to sort of get in and do what you want. Or you get 3 or 4 blues guitarists on stage all at one time, all bloody soloing over each other, and it's I can't hear myself, I can't do what I want to do, I just don't enjoy it. But they're great, jam nights are great, and if you haven't checked one out, you should check one out, because you might find that really suits your kind of style of playing. Definitely gets you playing with other people, which is by the way, the quickest way to get a better musician out of yourself is to play with other people.
Oh God, yeah.
Play with better people, play with people with different styles, play with as many different people as you can. Learn to read the people you like and people you don't like and gravitate towards the ones that float your boat. But
I agree with what you're saying about jam nights. I think you have to find a jam night that suits you, because sometimes they are very difficult to get involved in if you don't know the people. You know, it's very difficult to introduce yourself to somebody when it does feel like they might be a bit cliquey. And
if you're not very confident as a person or as a musician, it's really hard to break into that circle.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, if you play with people who are less able, for example, than you, or, you know, more able than you, it bridges the gap. I would say with jams, go and check one out. Don't be disheartened if you don't get up and play or whatever. Just try and introduce yourself. You'll get a vibe pretty soon, as soon as you kind of introduce yourself to some of the people, whether you want to stick around or not. And if you're not feeling it, just go to the next one, because you just break your heart trying.
You find your scene. That's what I've kind of discovered.
Yeah.
Like, there is open mic nights that I avoid like the plague, and other people absolutely love them.
Yeah.
I obviously can't avoid my own. And I really enjoy my own. But there are some that I just personally, I don't like the way that they're structured or set up. Like, there's some really, really good ones. So there's a guy called Gavin Thomas who runs one in Guildford. Outstanding quality. Like, you know, generally, you know, I pride myself on my nights being fairly good quality musicians, and they are, and they're great, and I love everyone who comes down. Please don't stop coming. You're all brilliant. But because Gav runs his in Guildford, you've got all the music college kids coming out. And it's a different vibe. The standard is amazing. They're a little bit cliquey sometimes, because they're a little bit like, you know, there's a bit of arrogance that comes with the college kind of ACM vibe.
They soon learn, though.
They do.
Once they get kicked out into the real industry, you're like, yeah, welcome.
You know, I think what makes his nights really good is he insists on absolute silence. Like, no, you can't do that in every pub. He is the most welcoming, supportive person. He's a professional photographer down there, so the people that do come down and play get a suite of like 5 or 6 like professional photos off the back of it for free.
That's lovely.
Now, he's found his niche, and he's really running it in a really good way. And I certainly took tips from him in terms of the way I run it and slots and that kind of stuff. But everyone runs it in a different way. So find the one that suits you guys. Because some people might find that intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
Other people might find the folk, you know, not mic'd up, sitting out the back of a pub, like not mic'd up. Yeah. Kind of less like performing. You know, if you're all sitting around in a circle and you're all playing together, like there's a lot of uke clubs and uke circles and stuff going on, and that's great.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, there's loads like that. So just find the one that suits you. Check different ones out.
Yeah, there was a pub in Maidenhead. It's been taken over now. It's actually where we ran the other open mic.
Where we killed the open mic.
Well, they killed it.
I'll tell you why they killed it in a sec.
Yeah, freaking idiots. Anyway, so they used to be a very much Irish pub. It wasn't full of crackheads. It's quite a nice place to be.
But don't hold back, yeah.
It was quite a nice place to be. And on a Sunday, they used to have an open folk jam kind of thing. And then people were invited to bring down whatever their instruments were. Everybody would just sit around. They'd have the fire going on a Sunday. They'd do a Sunday roast or whatever. And then everybody would sit around and just jam out whatever they wanted. And people could sing if they wanted to. People could work on their harmonies together, and it was just really cozy. That's
nice
and cute.
I was going to say, like, you know, there might be a few of you out there. Firstly, what I would say is, no matter what standard you are, you're never above doing an open mic night. No. Try not to think of it as like entry level gig. You develop so many good skills. Like, you don't see professional footballers skipping the practice. You know, they do the practice and the coaching all week.
I've seen some phenomenal people at open mics.
The standard is really good. You just got to find one that suits and you enjoy. Try your act out. Like, doing it acoustically, even if you're a rock band, is a great way of seeing if your song works as a song. Yeah. To do it acoustically.
Definitely.
Without the effects, without, you know, are you tight as a band? If you're tight acoustically as a band, you are going to be much better at rocking out. And I think the other thing is that, you know, there'll be people out there who maybe want to run one or are running one or whatever. No, we're not the experts, but like, you know, I've been running it for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple of things that I would recommend that people do if they want to run one. Make it worthwhile for the people coming down. Whether that's making sure they can hear themselves. I don't go to many open mic nights where you have a monitor on stage.
No, a lot of them don't.
I always have a monitor because it's really important to hear yourself.
So do we.
Yeah, I know you do. I know Gav does down in Guildford. Like, there's a few people who do it.
I think
But-
people really appreciate.
They go away buzzing because they're like, "Oh my god, you sounded really good tonight."
Yeah,
Like,
they do. And if you
Right.
ask them before, so if someone's playing, say you want to run an open mic, if someone comes up and they're playing, ask them how they like their sound.
yeah,
Okay, don't assume that because they're at an open mic they don't know how they want to sound and you're in control of the sound, so therefore ask them, how do you like your guitar to sound? How do you like your voice to sound? You know, maybe they want a bit more reverb, maybe they want a bit more bass in their guitar, maybe they want the treble down. You know, listen to them and try and actually...
you're there to make them comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You don't want to give them a harsh sound on the guitar just because you like it. Then it throws off
Yeah.
the actual sound that they're trying to create, because they're an artist in their own right. You know, they want to portray themselves, you know?
Yeah, I have so many people come off stage and go, "Oh, I think we did really well tonight." Like, and do you know what? You sounded great last, probably the last gig you played to everyone else, but I know you had a bad experience because you
Yeah,
can hear
'cause you
yourself.
can
So,
hear it, yeah.
so they want to come down because they can hear themselves. I give them more songs. You don't have to do that, but just find your niche. Have a look at the open mic nights in the area. How is yours going to be different? Is it a nicer pub? Is it longer time? Is it you're going to make it really worthwhile? What's your vibe you're trying to get across? Are you going to give people free photos when they come down? Is there going to be nibbles out on the table? Like, what are you going to do to make yours a little bit special? But also bear in mind that the pub needs to work for the pub. There's no point going in there charging 200 quid and bringing like 6 people down. You need to have a relationship with the pub that's kind of... So the reason ours got cancelled, the one that we were babysitting got cancelled, is because outside of the people we brought down for the open mic, there was 2 people in the pub generally.
Yeah, exactly.
It was they did nothing to promote the night, nothing to do anything. Like,
it was diabolical, wasn't it?
It was awful.
And they tried to blame it on us. And we were like, I'm sorry, but you don't even have the clients in here when we're not here.
Yeah.
So how...
So you can't work magic as an organizer. Like,
No, you can't. You can't tell. The thing was as well, they were in the centre of town.
Yeah.
They were in a prime location for passers-by, for people driving past. They didn't even write it on their board. And when they did write it on their board one night, they spelt it wrong.
Mike, M-I-K-E.
They spelt acoustic with 2 C's.
Oh, jeez.
Acoustic. And
it needs to be a partnership with the pub. And they need to do their bit. The other thing is, don't get disheartened. If you are running an open mic night and it does get cancelled, don't take it personally. Have a think about like what you could have done differently and stuff. Generally, with pubs, if I get more than 2 or 3 gigs out of a pub, I'm into the milking it phase. I'm doing well. I ran one in Ascot with Rage, actually.
Oh, on the Sunday.
Bar Ascot.
Bar 1.
Bar
Or
1 in Ascot.
Yeah.
Manager of the place loved it. It's pretty much dead on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And we made it work. They had 20 people down that they wouldn't have had normally.
Yeah.
Her boss, the not the manager of the pub, but the regional manager, decided that he didn't want it. He wanted to have single artists on. So we're bringing 20 people down, or 30 people down sometimes. If you book a single solo artist to come down, they're going to probably turn up on their own. You realise that, right?
Yeah.
They might have a girlfriend or, a couple of mates for the first couple, but they're if they're a gigging musician who's playing a number of times a week, they aren't going to be turning up with people.
No. Well, did I tell you what happened in that venue a couple of times? I may have done.
Well, to be honest, we ran it 3 months down there.
Yeah.
And to be honest, any females who played down there just got harassed and
Yeah.
it just was not good.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, actually, for the sake of my friends who are musicians and, I don't want to put them in that environment, so I took them out.
No, it was actually horrible. So me and I went to go and see Rachel, and I think I sung 4 songs with her. Something during a gig, I literally came down, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to sing a couple of songs?" Yeah. And this guy came onto the stage area while we were singing the song, and he grabbed me. So I obviously, please get off, shoved him away. And then another guy across the bar who saw this kind of happen, he grabbed this guy by the throat, shoved him up on the wall, smacked his head into smacked his head into the glass pane of a picture that was on the wall. By this point, me and Rachel are like, we're up all night to the sun, we're up all night, just keep singing, everything's fine. And we're just like trying to maintain some kind of music that's happening, and then the guy who pinned the guy up on the wall pays me and Rachel 20 quid each to sing more songs. So we do, because we don't want to get thrown against the wall.
Fair enough.
No, but then the next time we did a shared gig. So if you don't know Rachel, she does requests sort of gigs. So she has little slips and you can put in a request, and she leaves her song list out, so you choose the song that you want and you drop it off at the stage, and then she does her live gigs like that. So this kid, for lack of a better word, because I don't think he was old enough to be in the pub, he put in a request for Dancing in the Moonlight top loader song. This song, Rachel performed it, and the guy who'd requested it was outside having a cigarette or whatever he was doing. He was very, very drunk. He came in, he's missed his song, so he asked for his song to be played again. Rachel says, no, I've just played that song. We're on the next request now. Yeah, well, I was outside, wasn't I? And he's harassing her. He's literally up in her grill. She's actually singing another song now, and he is right up in her face. And she looks at me, and I was by the bar at this point, and I saw her face of, please freaking help me, this guy. So I went over, and I said, I sort of removed him.
Yeah.
Like, please, can you leave her alone? She said, leave her alone. Just, I'm not talking to you, am I? I'm talking to her. Why don't you? Well, I'm not talking to you. I was like, right, okay. Do you want a smack in the mouth? Because that's the way you're heading right now, sweetie. Right? Do as I said. And then he knocks my microphone over and my tablet. That goes crashing into the floor. He then tumbles into the mixing desk, which is on the table behind Rachel. Meanwhile, she's still playing. She's still playing the song, looking at me ever worriedly. I was just like, don't worry, Rach, everything's going to be fine. And I'm thinking, oh shit, is it?
Yeah, so unfortunately, like gigging musicians, you will have a fight at some point. Like
yeah,
you will,
I've had several.
You will get involved in altercations. I'm afraid that is just what happens if you consistently go to pubs over a 10-year period on a weekend. You're gonna get involved in, not involved necessarily, but you're gonna get very close to altercations and situations where that might happen.
It's all fun and games. I mean, I think I've probably been in more fights and altercations from just trying to do my job. Like, I haven't even done it. I've just been singing a song, and then all of a sudden, someone's just started on me for some reason. Like, I don't even know what I've done.
Yeah, this is what we, when we started the podcast and we were thinking of a name, and all right, it was a kind of funny pun. I think that was what first, like, stress pubs rock and roll was. It's clearly a pun. The stress bit is like the bit that resonated for me, because this is the bit, we all get into it because we enjoy music and we love music and we like having fun with mates and stuff. But like, it just comes with this level, like everyone can relate to, like just the weird, stressful situations you get into when you're doing, basically when you're dealing with members of the public.
Yeah, and it's not even like you don't
regular knobheads, like most weeks. Like in any one pub, like as soon as you get more than 20 people in a pub, one of those 20 is a knobhead. If you get 40 people, there's 2 knobheads. If you get 60 people, like, it goes on from there. Do you know what I mean? Some people, knobheads bring their friends, who are all knobheads, and you get a group of knobheads. Like, it's just, it's stressful.
It is stressful.
And you have to, like...
I remember, like, just...
We're not paid. None of us are paid. Like, in fact,
not paid enough to deal with this.
The ironic thing that really pees me off, right, is the people that are paid enough to deal with it. Like, we always go, we're not paid enough to deal with this crap. No, the people who are paid enough to deal with this crap don't deal with this crap. Like you get paid a certain amount that you just sub that stress level out, like to a security team.
Yeah.
At some point, 2016, 2015, it became very popular. I don't know why. Maybe it was on a TV show or something like that, to do a mic drop.
Oh yeah, don't do that, for crying out loud.
As a person who owns microphones and runs events, it is the quickest way to get my blood boiling, is if you fricking drop my microphone on the floor in a finale of like, boom, mic drop, walk off to all your mates, high five them.
Yeah, it's not clever.
it's not clever. That microphone costs a lot of money. I know you're pissed up. I know you're not thinking about it in that sense, but it is infuriating. Please stop doing it because you don't look cool.
Do you know how much damage you can do to a mic? I mean, thank goodness, like a lot of dynamic mics are built.
They're pretty bloody sturdy, to be fair.
They're quite robust, but you drop a microphone on the floor, you're going to do it some damage. Okay, and you're looking at 150 quid plus to replace them, all right? It's not funny. Don't do it. It's not impressive. You don't look cool. You look like a twat, okay? How can you expect people to offer you a service and continue offering that service and creating music for you if you're going to ruin their stuff?
I almost feel like putting a sign up saying no mic drops. Like,
in fact, don't touch the mic. Sing it from afar. Tie your hands behind your back. Do a freaking,
Yeah.
Until you're old enough.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You want to drop it? Bring your own.
I'd agree with that.
That's what I'd say.
Listen, big shout out to. We're going to lead out on another James Maddock song. Big shout out to him because he's been super supportive. The fact that the legend that is James Maddock has let us have a listen to his album before it comes out and let us play it on the podcast. He's freaking great.
Yeah, it's a privilege, isn't it?
It's really good. That's really good. His band, by the way, as I said, it's got a load of his band's really talented. If you know the Spin Doctors, it's Aaron who plays drums in his band in there. James was saying that actually this is a new album is a completely different style, but not completely different. But it's a departure from the singer-songwriter stuff.
Right.
Mostly inspired by the fact that he's got this lovely, gorgeous Gretsch guitar that his dad's given him, or he got from his dad. Right, and I think that kind of has led him down this kind of style for this album. Yeah, I mean, I only heard the album today. This is the first track on the album. This is on first listen through the album. This is the one that grabbed me. Enjoy this one, Discover Me. And thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
I try to catch your eye and say hello, and then I see you turn around and go. Just take a seat and let the conversation flow. Please discover me. We can talk about a book you read, TV show they call The Walking Dead, philosophy and politics all unsaid. Please discover me. I don't like to come off impolite. I wish you knew what I was really like, and what I'm building in my shed at night. Please discover me. I'm like a secret treasure island, and only you know where to dig. I've been around the world and back, China, Pakistan and Hackensack. I'll keep you happy till the cows come back. Please discover me. Oh yeah. I'm like a secret treasure island, and only you know where to dig. I'm like an undiscovered breed of man, a new species of orangutan, a lost treasure in a distant land. Please discover me. Realization we were meant to be would be the find of the century. We'll make the cover of the